Hello everyone. As you may have heard, CPI print that was reported today was very hot, which has led to some rumors that some emergency rate hikes may even happen this month. I just did a video on that. Please check it. But anyway, I wanted to go through myself where the inflation has increased even more and where things may have plunged or calmed down. So yeah, let's quickly go through this article. Today's CPI print was a stunner despite JP Morgan whispers that inflation would miss expectations. Not only did that not happen, with CPI now coming in higher than Wall Street estimates 9 of the past 11 months, but CPI came in at the hottest level since 1982 when the Fed fund rates was 11.5%. So in 1982 the Federal Reserve interest rates used to be 11.5%, and if you go see here, the inflation was lower than Fed fund rates. So it's quite interesting. Fed fund rates were a lot higher than the inflation. Of course, it happened because of the high inflation during the 80s or late 70s, when Volcker had to increase the interest rates to control the inflation. But interestingly, if you compare that with today, the interest rate, Fed fund rates are near zero, 0.08%. And they are talking about raising them by 50 basis points or something like that to control the inflation, which is ridiculous if you look at it. Inflation coming around 7+% today, the interest rate would have to be higher than that to make any dent to control the inflation. Anyway, moving on, headline CPI and core CPI popped 0.6% month on month in January, kicking off of the new year with a positive inflation surprise. This boosted the year-on-year rates to 7.5% from 7.04% for headline and 6.0% from 7.5% for core. So headline inflation came 7.5%. Almost 5% higher than the previous month, and the core inflation came 6.0%, again 0.5% over the previous month, both the highest since 1982 as noted above. So very high inflation, and it looks like it is sustained and will be there for a while. Anyway, so this is the list of CPI, and let's see if we can make some sense where it is. So if you see headline CPI, the food and energy, which are the most, they have very high weightage, as you can see here, and they are one of the key ingredients and constituents in consumer prices. If you notice, food has increased from before. So before it was 6.27 and now it has come out 6.95. Energy has decreased slightly from 29.3 to 26.98, but it's still very, very high. I mean, 26% is insane inflation. As far as core CPI goes, household furnishing and supplies 9.35, which is higher. Apparel decreased. Motor vehicle parts increased a bit. Education is not very high. Recreational commodities increased slightly. Medicare commodities increased, but it's not very high anyway. Used car and trucks 40.51%. That is insane. Last month it was 37.29%. Shelter increased a little bit from 4.13 to 4.36. Lodging away from homes decreased slightly, so that may be because of Omicron. So yeah, as you can see, inflation is rearing its ugly head. But incidentally, for those wondering what the Fed's change in the CPI basket as part of his biennial update looks like, here is the answer. So this is what Federal Reserve has made its changes. And if you notice, one of the two key indicators for headline inflation, energy and food prices, they have reduced their weightage, which is like absolute insanity. I mean, food is the constituent of consumer prices which will always be there. It's not like people will stop eating food, and if food prices are increasing, why the hell they are reducing the weightage? Similarly, energy prices are again should always be there. Heating your house, electricity bill, gasoline for your car, I mean, you name it. Energy, again, there is no reason why they should be reducing weightage. These are not discretionary spendings. These are absolutely must. Similarly, the rents and stuff should also be with high weightage and kind of must there. Shelter, they have increased weightage, so that's good. They should be. Yeah, see, they play with these numbers. They fudge the data to ensure that numbers are following their narrative. Anyway, for the Fed, this report provides another wake-up call. Inflation is here and it continues to make its presence known everywhere. It is why the bank remains comfortable with the hawkish call for the Fed to hike 7 times this year, beginning at the next FOMC meeting in March. There is no way in the hell they are increasing 7 times this year, unless those rate hikes are like 1 basis point in each meeting or each FOMC meeting. So yeah, I mean, if they are increasing like 25 basis point, which is the base case for each decision, 7 times 25, there is no way that's going to happen. At least that's not, I think, is possible. I mean, already, as you can see from here, the short-term bond yields are increasing, and long-term bond yields are decreasing. So the bond yield curve inversion is already on the cards, which always reflects recession in next 6 to 1 year. And if that actually does happen, then recession will be should be our base case, or even Federal Reserve's base case. And anytime there is a recession and unemployment starts increasing, and so will be the disinflation, potentially even deflation, and then they will have to retrace their steps back. and go back to quantitative easing and then reduce the interest rates. So yeah, that's another key data point and news for today. The inflation is high, and odds of interest rate hikes are increasing. Of course, all this is happening when the chances of recession are high, and which will ultimately make the Federal Reserve go back on all these decisions. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.